Hey everyone, this is my 2018 Zero S. Now, I had a lot of questions about the Zero before I got started riding. This is actually my first ever motorcycle. And I've only been riding about 9 months. So I kind of want to do an update, a beginner's update, on a Zero as my first vehicle 9 months later. So I got my Zero in March of this year. And it was my first ever motorcycle. It's the first time I've even gotten on a motorcycle in any capacity. The reason was I had medical conditions and multiple surgeries. I thought a regular motorcycle would hinder me very badly, in a bad way. The vibration of the engine and shifting and constantly moving my leg for shifting and whatnot in the clutch. I thought that would hinder me and maybe cause me some pain. So I decided, okay, just twist and go. Don't have to shift, don't have to do anything, just brake. I thought that would be a good way to go. And I have no regrets, honestly. As my first motorcycle, again, I don't have a background of a regular motorcycle rider, so take my words with a grain of salt as far as your experience goes. But starting off in eco mode on this was really good. It limits the throttle, it limits the torque and everything. And there's even an app where you can limit regen braking, anything that you want. You can customize this pretty much to your riding needs. And as a beginner, it was a little bit intimidating. But again, since the throttle was so soft and so easy, it really did help me to get accustomed to riding. Oh my God! Oh my God, that's insane. Now, the other aspects of riding really depend on your skill level and your level of awareness. So riding in traffic is something different than what you would expect maybe at a different vehicle. For instance, this is completely quiet. All you hear is, it's literally like a sound from Tron, where just, that's all you hear, and it's not very loud. And I know there's a lot of proponents of, hey, loud pipes save lives. If you believe in that wholeheartedly, this is not gonna be the motorcycle for you because it is extremely quiet. I actually had to change the horn on it because the horn itself was so low and tiny and very pitchy that even if I did want to get the attention of somebody, that wasn't doing the job. So keep that in mind if you do decide to get one of these. Now, I know everybody's biggest question is range. What are you looking at realistically with range? Because I thought, oh, range isn't going to be an issue. I'm not going to go on long cross-country trips. I have a family. I can't just go riding for days on end. You know what I mean? So I decided, okay, well, this will be fine. The range will leave something to be desired. That is something that's the biggest drawback for me, is range. And electric motorcycles aren't there yet. Like, I don't have a crazy experience with electric motorcycles. Like I said, this is my first and only motorcycle right now. So range, I can get 100 miles realistically if I'm being careful. If I'm just riding through traffic, sticking on back roads, it's totally fine. You can get, I think the most I've ridden on here at one given time, really, while I'm recording, really, is the most I've ridden on here in any single session is about 2.5 hours. And again, I was just riding through town, lots of regen braking, and I have mine set on max, so the second I let go of the throttle, immediately kicks in. It's like engine braking, essentially, is what regen braking does. And it puts power back into the battery. Come on, man. Goodness gracious, every time. So yeah, on the highway, it'll chew through the battery almost instantly. There's a town that I go to quite often. It's about half hour away. And I left there at 70% and got here, and I was at about just over 30%. So keep that in mind. You're gonna chew through the battery if you go at high speeds most of the time. Something that people always ask me, how is this compared to an actual, like what CC, what engine size is it? Torque-wise, acceleration, it's a liter bike, 100%. That's the only thing I can compare it to, and videos that I've watched. It's essentially a liter bike when it comes to torque. Top speed, it's maybe like a 400 cc, if that. You get 110 miles per hour out of it. It'll boot you back down to 100, after about a mile or so. But again, you're gonna chew through the battery. Any weird issues with it? Not really. The only thing I would suggest is to make sure that you're close to either a dealer or somebody who kind of knows what they're doing. When it comes to something like this, when you're actually working on the Zero specific parts, you're gonna have to take it to an authorized Zero dealer. If you're thinking about like tires and brakes and all that stuff, just go to a regular repair shop. It'll be just fine. You're not gonna have any problems. You can't wheelie this thing unless you're really trying. You'd have to get on the back pegs and you know, give a good lift. This is not like the Effects, because there's a dirt bike version of this called the Effects that you can wheelie just almost at will. But this, the throttle is such that even if you hammer the throttle, it's very light. Like, it's super gradual. I mean, the more you do it, the sharper that gradual goes, but it's never, you're not just gonna hit it and bang, you're just gonna be off. Like, it doesn't work that way. The brakes, again, I have no frame of reference here, but they seem fine. I don't really know anything about the brakes. I know they're, okay, Zhejiang. There's Zhejiang brakes. I think that's how you say it. Some fancy name, I don't know. And there's different options you can get when it comes to Zeros. Some of these have power tanks, charge tanks, so they give you extended range, or they charge faster using a J2 plug. And there's also custom batteries that people make where it allows you to plug into Tesla chargers or charge 2 or 3 times as fast. I never got into that. I wanted to just, again, be basic. Charge times, you're looking at anywhere, you know, when it's completely dead, it takes 8 hours. I usually get back home when there's maybe 50, 40%, and that takes 4 hours. Plug in anywhere. So there's a trade-off. You can plug in anywhere you want, but it takes quite a while to charge. Or you can get upgrades, charge quicker, but you have to go to specific chargers like level 2 or, again, Tesla chargers. The seating is comfortable somewhat. Again, no frame of reference, but I know after about 45 minutes on here, my butt cheeks are screaming pretty good. It's not that great, to be honest. They sell Corbin seats and whatnot, or you can get a custom seat, but I never splurged for that. I thought this is just fine. Again, I'm not gonna be riding for hours and hours and hours on end, so it's not something that I think is worth the investment. The tires that came with it are okay. I didn't have any problems with it, but I switched to the Michelin Pilots, and those seem to be working very well. They seem to be taking the road a little bit. I got, with the Diablo Rosso 2s, I got a lot of cupping in the front tire specifically. So I decided to just upgrade and get a new set of tires, and the Pilots have been working very well. Turn signals, they're turn signals, you know what I'm saying? The dash is a little bit plain. There's a new model, the SRFs, and they have a really like tablet style looking dash that gives you a bit more information. It's a color display and everything. I like that. This just seems to be very kind of basic, but it does have its features. It can tell you how much range you have left, what the temperature of the motor is, and everything. And the motor is it's down there, and it's actually very small. It's about this big, but man, it puts in some work. It really does. The drive is belt driven. It's not a chain, and the belt has very little maintenance on it. So that's something that you consider. The only maintenance you have to do on this bike essentially is brake fluid, brakes, tires, and the belt. Now the battery has a 5-year warranty on it, but it's still kind of untested. These newer batteries that Zero has put out on these newer bikes in the past few years. So who knows if that's gonna last just the 5 years, or it could be 15 years, but they only warranty it for 5. So kind of keep that in mind. Maybe that's something that you need to worry about. It's been really, really fun using this. You can zip around, and when you have more torque and acceleration speed than most anything in your town, it really does help you get out of like shady situations, or if something's just bugging you, you know, you can get out of there fairly quick. The acceleration, really good. I've dropped it twice. She's heavy. She's really heavy. She's about 900 pounds. But both times that I dropped it were beginner mistakes, stuff that I didn't know. You know, there was a slight angle on it, and I parked it forward, so the kickstand couldn't hold the weight, and it just kind of went over. That happened twice. So it's not really the bike's fault. It's my issues. It's nothing to do with my skill level or anything like that. It's just knowledge, essentially. I really love my Zero. I'm gonna keep this bike forever. It just has the one flaw, and again, that's range. That's it. I can't go on rides and with other riders. I live near the tail of the Dragon. Not necessarily that I want to go there, but you know, the road around that area, there's a lot of riders and places you can go. Can't do it. I'd have to either tow the bike there or ride up there, charge for hours, and then head home. So that's about it. That's all I have to say about it. If you're thinking about getting a Zero, I would definitely take one for a test drive first. If you're a completely new rider, I would, again, take it for a test ride. If you're worried about shifting and whatnot, Honda, I think, also has a couple motorcycles that do automatic shifting. You don't have to do, and there's no clutch, there's no gearing or anything like that. So I didn't take this for a test drive, just to kind of throw how I got my hands on it. I had purchased it out of state and they delivered it to me. So my practice was the driveway that you see here. And that was plenty of room to kind of me get used to just the torque and how a motorcycle feels and everything like that. Again, this is my first ride, so I don't know how to go about it. But yeah, I hope that answers some questions if you guys had any. But that does it for me. If you guys have any more questions, again, just hit the comment section below. Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.